Lunchtime special. Welcome to the best lunchtime show, late night show, regular Madden podcast show. That man got the offer right now, man. You're dealing with AntHits, the franchise guru from the hot league. Here we go with this shit early. I didn't get to introduce it. Hello? Yeah. Hold on. Alright, fellas, sorry about that. We had to take a quick commercial. Look at the screen for nothing break without hearing me. Had a important phone call. Mom Dukes called. Had to take care of that. But we back at it right now, man. Lunchtime special. If you at work right now or you just home chilling right now and this is your lunchtime right now and you tuned in, especially if you from the league, you tuned in, let's go. Get ready for a real big debate in the or agree segment out of me and the guy that thinks he's undefeated and shit in our debate segments. I call him Shotgun. Let you have it. Gun, shotgun, show guns, whatever you want to call him, man. He's the best co-host in the podcast business right now. You know what I'm talking about? So, man, listen, man. Game of Thrones 3. We're in season 3. We're in the playoffs, man. We in the dance right now. We're trying to figure out who's going to land in King's Landing and sit on that throne at the end of all this shit right now. Playoffs? We talking about playoffs? Man, playoffs. That's what we talking about. Guns. We are in the divisional round right now. I call it the Elite 8. We definitely got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about when it comes down to this Elite 8 situations and these matchups. Now, I did this with the Ballin' with the Guru episode, and I had really good guest appearances by, none other than the Patriots coach Nano and the Bucks coach Top Tier Craig. Both of those guys helped me out in my questions and, my understanding of these matchups. So because we did dig deep into the Ballin' with the Guru episode show about the matchups and all that, we're not going to stay too long on those topics, but we will touch base again. So I'll ask you, man, first of all, how do you feel about all these matchups? I think we got some really, really good football games coming up tonight.
These are actually some outstanding matchups, depending on what side of the bracket you want to start on. So if you want to lead the way, I'm ready to get into it. But
so this is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start right down at the bottom on the NFC side of things, right? Probably the game of the week in the Cardinals and the New York Giants right now, man. Both these teams have taken different paths to get back to this game that they're in right now, that they will match up tonight to play. And their paths were different. The Giants did a lot of GMing, free agency trades and all things like that. They put some draft pieces together as well. When you look at their roster, man, you're looking at a team that is well balanced. They did a lot, and I think the Eagles set it off in that division. They're playing in the best division of football right now. And again, I think the Eagles set it off with the trade with Deshaun Watson and going to go get Jamal Adams, and picked up pieces like Marcus Peters and things like that in those trades, Jonathan Taylor. But that set it off with the trades over there, man. Then all of a sudden the Cowboys came in the mix and went and got themselves a Marlon Humphreys to go along with Trayvon Diggs at corner. But once the Eagles did what they did, the Giants answered, right? And we had a very diverse division with those guys over there from 1 to 4. It was always switching. And the Giants' path right now they won their division 2 times in a row. When we said this will be one of the hardest divisions to win more than once, the Giants already climbed that mountain and won that division twice right now, and they're looking like they're ready to go on a run right now over there in the NFC East. But they did it with veterans, man. They went and got a quarterback wide receiver tandem from the Seahawks that was really good for the Seahawks, since young DK Metcalf has been in the league, and they brought him to New York, man. It was a 2-player deal. We take Russ, we're taking DK with us too. What you want to do? And they bust those moves, got them 2 over there, and then they drafted and they got guys like Avon Taylor, who's playing outstanding football right now, one of the better linebackers in the league, especially at the middle linebacker position. So the Giants, again, GMing was a really, really big move for those guys to do the things that they did to get them in a situation where they're one of the better teams in the league right now. They got a top I think they're outside of the top 5 on offense. I think they're in ranked number 8 on offense and number 3 on defense right now. Back at this game, not only did these guys play to go to the Super Bowl last year, they also played in the regular season this year as well, in a thriller that ended with a grab your nuts moment by the Cardinals going for 2 to clean the game up instead of going into overtime. I would say the Giants want to be in this situation. They got to climb that mountain to be able to win and get to that dance. You got to be able to beat the big dogs. I think they're both explosive everywhere, defensively and offense. I do think the Cardinals are underrated when it comes down to their defensive play. But offensively, these guys are at a level no one else has ever been at. Guns, you care to share anything about this Cardinals elite Fast and Furious rate?
Well, I actually missed my matchup this year with them personally, so I don't have that end game report. But I've watched enough games to where this team is hitting all cylinders and they're playing on a high level. But this is also a matchup of 2 teams that I think that are both honestly on the same level as we saw in their regular season matchup. It was just down to who's going to make the right plays at the right time, and then like you alluded to about grabbing your huevos moment. That was the difference in the game. So I think this is an elite, even level matchup. And we'll see how the Giants do going into a hostile territory, but they may actually prefer to avoid looking at the forecast of what's going on in New York right now. So
Like they probably rather be in the desert than and then on the East Coast right now in New Jersey in the Meadowlands. I would say the same thing too. We got a Colin Murray who threw for 7,460 yards, 92 touchdowns this year, and 70%.
How many yards?
7,460, 92 touchdowns.
How many yards?
7,460, 92 touchdowns, 30 interceptions.
3 times for those who are not listening.
This man had a 70% completion percentage, so he was very, very much accurate. 438.8 yards a game, and this guy threw for 439 yards a game, 14.8 yards a yak. Listen, this offense is explosive. They had a running back that didn't carry the ball a whole lot, but 227 carries is enough to show you he's still who he is. He's a threat. 1890, right outside of 2,000 yards, 8.3, 18 rushing touchdowns. In the wild card round, he was the man. 13 carries, he had over 200 yards, 15.5 yards a carry in that game. Out of those 227, he only fumbled the ball one time, and he has 53 break tackles in his offensive performance. Now, for Colin Murray, 53 carries for 348 yards at that 6.6 clip. He's not, Colin wants to throw the ball. He wants to go to read 1, 2, 3, 4 before he takes off. But they do have packages for the design quarterback run stuff for Colin Murray, and I'll tell you that's the furious part of their offense. The furious part is Tyson Williams and Colin Murray when it comes down to the ground game. And we don't see huge numbers here from Colin Murray as a runner, but he's definitely a threat. And when he does run, it's very important for them because they keep drives going. And he can literally be the X factor in the football game because of his legs. Because you have to put so much stress on stopping them from throwing the football. When he does take off, it's nothing you can do about it because to put a spy on the field, you will lose somebody in coverage to stop what I'm ready to go to right now, which is these receivers. Come on, bro. We got a guy that got 2,000-yard receivers on their team. Sheldon Ward.
Hell, I always thought that the Furious was how they left the defensive coordinator for the other team. I thought that's where the Furious came from.
Man, I think the furious part, they got a brain maniac, a football nerd, and Peyton Manning as their offensive coordinator over there. And I call that part of their, like, the receiver core of passing game. I call that the fast part of it, and that's the you would think Colin Murray feet and all that, but that fast is strictly because of what they do at the line of scrimmage, man. The process, how they process the coverage and what guys are in. To keep him in it, you got that really big, but like his keeping in it ain't for fast-paced offense. It's not. I know I said fast, but their keeping in it is fast processing, not calling the play fast and running plays at every 7 plays, 7 seconds a clip, a play and all that. It's more keep you at the line of scrimmage and then dissect what you in real fast, get it set up. They call a lot of plays from the fly with numbers. You know what I'm saying? Like their quarterback doesn't come to the he gets in the huddle, he got to play. He comes at times they go right into the hurry up offense, right? And when they go in a hurry up offense, the way they play call is almost like you watching a pickup game in the streets, right? Thanksgiving Day pickup game, and you yelling to your receivers with the run. You got a 5, you got a 6, you got a 7, you got a post, you got this. You know what I'm saying? They get to the line of scrimmage and they do that. That's the fast part because they process stuff so fast, and they put every team they play in conflict because of that. And then the raid is the passing game. That's the Cliff, what's his name? Cliff Kingsbury. Although he's not the head coach here anymore, their blueprint is here. The guy that came off his coaching tree is still here in Gold Falk. So now you got the air raid, which is you seeing right here. Sheldon Ward, 74 catches, 2,213 yards. Isabella, 98 catches, 2,069 yards. Rondell Moore, 95, 2,013 yards. All these guys got 20 or more touchdowns. And then they have a tight end as well, who's a 1,000-yard guy with 15 touchdowns. So these guys are super explosive in their air raid part of their offense, but the fast raid is the processing, the Peyton Manning style of football, the way they're a student of the game at the line of scrimmage. The raid is the air raid part of it, and then the furious to me is what happens when they do go to a guy like Tyson Williams and Colin Murray, bro. This offense is very dangerous, bro, and if you look at these numbers, you would not look at this team and say they're not the number 1 offense in the league, but they're not. They're number 2 in the league right now. As a defensive coordinator, what does when before you even put on the game tape to try to watch this team, and you just look at the numbers what these guys are doing right now. Does that scare you?
I mean, my first thought when I looked at the numbers was, I'm sorry, what?
Right.
That was like the first thing that came to my mind. Like,
Like he did what? How this happened? What? No, not 9 computer games, 2 computer games. So this is humans again, and I gotta keep emphasizing that though right now, man. But then you got the number 3 defense facing the number 2 offense right now. If there's a team that can keep this under control and come into this game with their heads held high, and honestly feel like they can win this ball game and they can match up and do the things they need to do to be able to slow this offense down. There's nobody on the planet that can stop this offense, but there are teams in the league that can slow it down. It's the Giants, bro. I mean, defensively, they match up with anybody in the league right now. Being the number 3 defense in the league, they match up. Von Teller, 136 tackles, 15 tackles for loss. He has 13 interceptions. I mean, you got a middle linebacker who makes nothing but tackles, right? 136 is a lot of tackles, 15 tackles for loss. He zero in and he fly to the ball. He gets to the ball at a high rate. He's on pace to be, you know, if not the best linebacker in the league, he's on pace to be one of the greatest. This is Hall of Fame numbers early from a kid that's only in his 2nd season. And then the 13 interceptions, you almost got yourself a DB at the linebacker level, where guys are pitting these safeties at sub linebacker. They have a true linebacker that can do both, play the run and play the pass. Simple as that. 13 picks is a lot of interceptions and 7 deflections for a linebacker. And honestly, I think this is why he's part of the reason why this team can match up with anybody and has the number 3 defense in the league. Then when you flip the script on these guys and you ask me who's getting the pass pressure, who's getting to the quarterback, and Azeez Ojulari did it better than anybody this year. I think no one's ever had 28 sacks in a season in our league thus far. He has 28. I do think we had guys close, and don't quote me on that, because I think the kid Quavo over there in Cincinnati did it last year, or he came close to it last year. But then you got veteran Chandler Jones, who's a mentor for this entire defensive group, has 15 sacks itself. Then it drops. You know, your next guy is 5. So you got 2 guys that really get to the quarterback at a high level. And then in the back end, you got a secondary that can cover right now. So we're going to be talking about matchups and debates real soon. But Von Teller, 13 picks. You got Adoree Jackson with 10. Stephon Gilmore, old man Gilly Locke is sitting here with 8. Bradbury, who made the switch from corner to safety, and he has 5. And then you got a whole bunch of 4s and 3s running around. This defense is really good. And it's not. If we're looking for a game to watch tonight, the number 2 offense versus the number 3 defense, that's the game to watch. I would love to watch this game and see how it takes its course. So talk to me about a little bit of this matchup. What do you see here when you're dealing with the Cardinals versus the Giants? They played really tight in the NFC Championship last year, and the Giants lost that game. Just like the regular season game this year, the Giants controlled that game but lost it in the 4th quarter. What do they got to do not to lose the game?
Ooh, that's really hard, because if you go over the matchups that they had, you can't really point to one thing and say this is why they lost the game. Like I said, you got one where it was just an unbelievable gutsy call for the matchup earlier this year. Now if we go back to the game last year, it was the turnovers late. But at that point, you're just fighting to stay in the game. So I could easily chunk that up as they were just out of character just because of the situational football.
Turnovers happened at the wrong time for this team in that championship game last year, and once momentum swing, it's hard to really capture that back, especially late like that. But when you look at the fury part of the Cardinals with Tyson Williams in the backfield, it's still Saquon Barkley over there for this Giants offense, bro. And the thing is, he's the better running back. They literally can rely on him to win them the ball game.
Yeah, they could.
And the other thing I like about this Giants team, not only do they have, to me, Saquon Barkley in the backfield, they do have the better offensive line as well.
Oh yeah, they do.
They have
They
the
do.
better offensive line as well in this game. You know, the Cardinals' offensive line is very young. They do have a veteran. I think he retired on them. So at the end of the day, the Cardinals do give up the offensive line. When we talk about the big boys as well up front, they both are very active with their big boys. They're you know, their front seven on defense, and on offense, the offensive line, the front five. Both of them are really legit. My thing is, I think the processing and the fast part of the Cardinals offense hides the fact that, you know, they're very young at the offensive line spot, and these guys look like they're playing at a higher level, and they're doing really big things with all these numbers on offense like that, but they get the ball out so quick that you really don't have time to really get to this quarterback, man. And I think the play calling and how fast they get the ball out, and their style of play is the reason why this offensive line still has a shot, to make things happen right now. And I think the run game is big because of the passing game. It's so lethal over there that you got to give up the run. You got to be able to say, all right, well, we'll let Tyson Williams, eat, as long as we can stop the receivers from eating that along with it. And I think that's the problem when it comes down to playing the Cardinals. They can come in and look what they did to the Cowboys. They only threw for 179 yards as a team, and they rushed for over 200-something yards in that game. So when you look at the game, it looked like they put the game on their running back and their offensive line in that ball game. So they're showing us that they can play that type of football in the playoffs, where they rely on their run game a little bit more than the passing game. Do you think they can do that when they play the Giants, though?
I think if they just follow the same, if they don't get outside of themselves and follow the same formula, they don't have to change anything. They won the last two matchups. So, that shows that for one, they're prepared, and the games have been lost, late in the second half, so it looks like the second half adjustments has been made. So I think as long as they continue to play their game, stay within themselves, and continue to do a good job of making those second half adjustments, I think they're well prepared. Coach Manning has a team well prepared, offensively.
No doubt, no doubt. All right, let's go talk about the game that you're in right now. Jacksonville travels to Denver. First of all, congratulations on your first victory with your young Jaguars team in the playoffs. Out of 3 seasons, you get there on your 3rd try. You go out there and handle the Bengals. It looked like with ease, 35-9, big time game in that wild card round, and move you to that divisional round. And you're going to play a team up there where y'all are facing the elements right now. You guys got -4 speed, acceleration, and agility right now in this game because of the weather conditions right now. And a lot of the analysts that have been talking about y'all game are saying that the weather is in your favor right now. Even though you guys are coming from Florida and have to go play in that type of weather, they think the weather really benefits you because of your strong run game right now. First of all, how do you like yourself in this matchup? Like, you know what I'm saying? You're playing a team that you played already this year. You're playing one of the top coaches in our league right now. Could you not ask for a game better than this?
Well, for one, whoever is saying that this game favors us, they're off their rocker. I don't know where they're getting that from, because even though I know they're probably looking at it on paper, but this is a team, first of all, has never been in this round before.
Right.
This is the youngest team that's in the playoffs, currently from top to bottom. Never been to this round. We're going on the road, playing in the elements. Hell, I got out of bed this morning and I'm moving at -4 speed, just myself. So I don't know where they're getting this from. So this is uncharted territory. But there's not a matchup that I want more than this particular matchup. This is one of the great coaches of our league that I respect a lot. And whenever you meet that compadre or that family member that you care about, you honestly want to punch them in the mouth, more than anybody else that's in there.
No doubt, no doubt. Let's talk about the Broncos coach, man. Coach Jimbo and his style of play right now, man. They are a win-first football team. They are the most unselfish team in the league, flat out. Am I wrong for saying that?
No, no, you're not.
They rely on teamwork really to make the dream work. Simple as that. And when you got a team that a coach that preaches teamwork, is 11 men on the field for a reason. And you need all 11 of those guys to be running concurrent and running in the same sync for them to be able to be successful. And how first of all, how hard is it to get 11 different characters on your team to really not see themselves as I'm the man of this team? And it's like none of them had that attitude. They all had that team first mentality right now. Is that a testament to the coach?
That's a total testament to the coaching staff. That means there was an evaluation. There were a lot of phone calls made, before they brought these guys onto their team. Whether it was former college coaches, former high school coaches. It seems like they went through no lengths to make sure that this was a team with no character issues, and that love to play unselfish football.
And they're doing a really good job of that. And this is another team that quiet is kept. GM wise, they've been doing it their way, and they're actually going out and getting those guys with that type of character to be able to come on this team and be a team first mentality. And the trades they made a bunch of trades, and their GM is very active, but he's active in his own way. You got some guy, you got the follow the pack guys. You got the set your own standard guys, and he's one of those, man. The way he attacks the off season, the free agency, the trade moves during the regular season is unmatched. Nobody else is doing it the way he's doing it. And his team stays sitting in as one of the top seeds in the AFC, and always playing in this divisional round going forward. And on the flip side, you got a team that they GM their asses off too, but they do it through the young pieces right now. And we looked at all 4 matchups, all 8 teams. There's no team younger than the Baltimore Ravens and the Jacksonville Jaguars right now. And the fact is, each team has some veteran pieces around them, but then it's like you got some guys that have been in the league for 8, 9, 10 years, and they're the veterans on some of these teams that's playing right now, right? And then on the Jacksonville Jaguar team, it might be a 4-year player. It might be a 5-year player. That's the veteran that these young guys are counting on right now. And now you're taking your team on a road, and you guys are going a mile high in weather conditions, and you have a quarterback that's been throwing at a high level as well, close to 70%, if not 70% on the year, and a running back that's quietly making a case that he's not only one of the top 5 running backs in the AFC, but he might be one of those top 5 to 10 running backs. When they say top 5 to 10, so 5 to 10 or 1 to 5, in your opinion, do you feel like Travis Etienne, as far as a complete running back right now, should be mentioned in the top 5?
Absolutely. And for all those, for some of those guys that have running backs that they consider, I would ask them, hey, go look at the numbers. Go look at the rushing numbers. Go look at the receiving numbers. But before you hang your hat on that hook.
When y'all drafted Trevor Lawrence to be the face of your franchise, and then go get his teammate and with Travis Etienne, man, and you put those guys on the field. Remember, you come off that Baltimore coaching tree as well, and you got a couple of those type of players, and y'all got that type of vision when it comes down to y'all team. You guys want trust. You want guys to better grow up. They're young, growing up together right now, so their future is bright. Obviously you have that marathon, not race mentality. But do you feel like your team ahead of schedule? Like we talk about the Lions being ahead of schedule, do you feel like your team is ahead of schedule?
I would like to look at us as a right on time. I like to think that we have a right on time mentality, because I really thought that by year 3 was when we would kind of be hitting on all the cylinders. And I think if you look at some of the past, the first 2 seasons that we made the playoffs, the way that we lost just showed that we were not ready.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this time this team is more prepared, and that Baltimore Ravens blueprint that you talked about, that's exactly what it was. We looked at, what did they have, in the past years. You looked at big trust. You look at people that's on a microphone saying, whoop, whoop, if you don't think so, come see me.
Right.
So we wanted Trevor to have that same safety net, and wanted to be, as comfortable. So, so we drafted his teammate also, in the first round, to give him a sense of comfort. And then we just continued to try to put pieces around him, which is why you see the elevated completion percentage. And now, this season he passed for 4,000 yards.
Now, my last question before we go into these other matchups, and just, quickly, how do you get Trevor Lawrence to be able to be still comfortable knowing that he was drafted as the #1 overall pick to be the face of the franchise? And to be honest with you, Travis Etienne is the face of the franchise. Again, teammates. These guys been roommates. They've been teammates for, their entire college career. How does Trevor Lawrence handle that?
Well, from what we told him year one, and he's been on board from the very beginning, because when you draft teammates, it also comes with pressure. You think that it's just all levels of comfort, but there's pressure also, because we had to find out how did they interact when they were at Clemson. We had to not only check with the players, but check with the people around the players. Was there one that felt like he wasn't getting the the respect? Because there were a lot of players that media that felt that Trevor, because of obviously when he looks in the mirror, that he was elevated over other quarterbacks. Like his compadre from Georgia that's now quarterback of the Bears. So we also had to check with the Etienne family, the Etienne, the whole clan, just to see how he felt playing with
Right.
Trevor, and there was no problems between the two. So when they came pro, we presented, we wanted to do something new. We didn't want to have just one face of a franchise.
Right.
We want to promote them together. So that's
They
one of
came
the
in
things
together,
both
both of them first-round picks, and both of them leading this Jacksonville Jaguars offense and team right now, man. And how refreshing is it to have two young players that's only playing for 3 seasons now, as captains of this team?
It feels really good. Both on the same page. It's not, the offense don't just hang out together. We find our offensive guys that hang out with the defensive guys, and some of the defensive guys that actually come in, and vice versa. They come in on each other's meetings just to sit in and share information and just watch and work with our coaching staff.
All right, buddy. I love the fact that these guys, again, they came in together, they riding and dying together, man, and that's been their quote, since wild card round, man. We ride or die together. You know what I'm saying? We win or die trying. Simple as that. And that's that. You know what I'm saying? So I like that over there, man. That's gonna be a good matchup. We'll come back to in a second. Now, Tampa Bay versus the Chicago Bears, man. This team got history. These two teams got a lot of history against each other right now, man. And the last time Tampa Bay played this team, they beat the brakes off of the Bears right now. Do you think that they're gonna come into this game with too much confidence? Or can they come into this game with too much pressure? And here's what I mean. Let me ask you this. Is Tampa Bay, on paper right now, when we look at, the guys that left in the playoffs, are they supposed to be in the Super Bowl this year? Is the Super Bowl or bust for them?
Anytime you got TB12 on your team in any capacity, it's always Super Bowl or bust. So I don't think they're looking past these guys at all. When it comes to Tom, I'm pretty sure that he's talking his team up. He's like, look, let's beat them worse than we did last time.
Right.
To send a clear message. So anything involving TB12 is Super Bowl or bust.
And because of TB12 still being around right now, and he's a player coach right now, do you think that that'll keep this team focused? Do you think they won't look ahead right now? Like, are they looking past this Bear team, or do you think they're razor sharp focus on what's in front of them right now?
Chicago's the only thing that matters to this team right now. Nobody else exists in their world right now outside of the Chicago.
No doubt, no doubt. All right, so you got, two different style of teams that we're going to see today. We're going to see the #1 ranked defense in the entire league go up against a high-power offense. And you're going to see, to me, I think the Bears are going to try to get the run game going, and then they're going to go back to their, baby crossers. You know what I'm saying? Now, we know the Saints are the what I call on a roll and rally offense right now. This team right here is they want to make you chase them on the whole field. They want receivers going from left to right, right to left. Simple as that. And they want you to chase those crossers. This is the cross and guard offense, in my opinion. Because the guard part of it, crisscross offense, the crisscross and guard offense, because the guard part of it is the check down game. They will throw the ball to their running back and their tight end, and they're not looking for their running backs and tight ends to be mid-range routes or deep routes. They want them to catch the ball right out of the backfield, right at the line of scrimmage, 2-3 yards past the line of scrimmage, and make plays with their legs and shit after the catch. The linebacker level is crazy. The linebacker level is crazy for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think they can, they got the speed to run with anybody's receivers or running backs, simple as that, or tight ends at that too. And I think their matchup starts right there. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers linebacker core versus the entire offense of the Chicago Bears. It starts right there, and to me, it doesn't go any further than right there. If that linebacker core is flying around, it can be a hard situation for the Chicago Bears. The problem is are they going to be able to stop, the receivers running across the field? Do Justin Fields have enough time to be able to, watch a route go from right to left, and vice versa, and be able to see the field and do good things in the passing game right now? We're going to talk about the quarterbacks that's in this game at a long length, not super long, but we want to really dig into these quarterbacks that are left, the 8 elite quarterbacks that are left in the playoffs right now. But we like this game. Would you say if we didn't have this matchup between the Cardinals and the Giants, would this be the game of the week, in your opinion?
Yeah, this is definitely the undercard of and I mean no disrespect when I say that, because everybody knows when you got the major fight, it starts with the lower level fights, and then it works its way up, to the main card. Then you have your main undercard. So this is definitely the main undercard. Not because of talent or not because of coaching abilities. Is just that one particular matchup, and I don't think that these coaches will take it the wrong way. It's just this particular matchup because of the matchups prior to them. Because at first, it took Tampa Bay a long time to figure out how to get past the Bears.
Right.
And then they finally got past them, and then they followed it up during the season, and they were able to, basically defeat them again. So this is starting to become, a balanced rival.
Well, the last time these two teams met in the playoffs, the Bears won that game. The Bears got bounced by the Cardinals last year, so the Bucks didn't get a chance to see them again in the playoffs. So their matchups was once in the regular season, year one, once in the playoffs, year one, and the Bears won both those matchups. And then their next matchup was this year in the regular season, where the Bucks really beat up on the Bears in that game. But I think, it's playoffs again, right? And the last thing the Bucks should be have in their mind is the fact that the last time they matched up in the playoffs, that they got bounced out because of the Bears. So I think they will have that on. Like, I think the Bucks will build a sense of revenge game still, which is part of the reason why, they're gonna come out on fire, ready to go. Because again, TB12 make up issues when it comes down to playing another opponent. He was one of the quarterbacks that be in DB's face. You saw what he did to the Honey Badger in the Super Bowl. Like he's one of those guys, up in your face guy, and that whole team took on that characteristic. So I think they got to build themselves up to say, you know what, this is the most important game of tonight. At the end of the day, because last time we played these guys in the playoffs, not only did they bounce us out, they won a championship, which stopped us from winning our Super Bowl right now. So I do think that these guys are going to be on their thing right now. And while we're talking about that, I'll be holding on to right now, giving my co-host a little time to get some things done real fast. I want to talk about the quarterbacks and the quarterback play of all of the 8 teams that are left in this playoff run right now. My first thing would say, are these the best quarterbacks in the league that are left playing? Sometimes, teams are playing, and that doesn't mean that, the quarterbacks are the best because they're the last ones still playing right now. But what we will do is we'll go over here and we'll talk about the quarterbacks that are left. We already talked about Colin Murray. When you think about a Colin Murray, you're thinking about a dual threat quarterback, a guy that really, really got his shit together. He's one of the most athletic players in the league. But when you think about him, you don't think about the fast quarterback, the 94 speed, high acceleration, really good elusiveness and agility. You don't think about that with Colin Murray. You think about a guy that really drops back and tear you up from that pocket. And we watched him in his development from season 3. Meaning our first season, it was his 3rd year. You saw him sit in that pocket and take his lumps in that pocket without a strong offensive line to be able to become a legit passer in this game. And it seemed like the moment he got matched up with Peyton Manning as the offensive coordinator, Colin Murray's game went to a different level. When you talk about dual threat quarterbacks, they don't really mention him as a dual threat quarterback when he's the second dangerous quarterback in the league when it come down to dual threat capability. So let's look at Colin Murray for a second, and I'm gonna show you what I mean by having a plan for a guy. When you bring your coaching staff in, and Goat Falk comes in, they get rid of Kingsbury, and they hire his understudy in Goat Falk. And they know they got the air raid principle. They say we drafted this guy and brought him into the air raid system. Not only did he come from this in college, he did it in high school as well. And we're not going to take that part of football away from him. We still want him to be able to be an air raid quarterback. And with that being said, we got to come in and we got to have a plan for this guy. And I think they're very much ahead of schedule with the plan. Just talking with Coach Falk and Peyton Manning together, and just seeing what their plan of ideas was. It really amazed me how they processed this quarterback and thought about it. I keep telling y'all the furious part of their offense is this run game, and he's part of it. But the fast is the processing. You don't get drafted #1 overall because you don't have brains, you don't have the smarts. And Colin Murray processed things very, very fast. He's been doing it since he was 14 years old, playing out there in Texas in high school, right? The process of a quarterback. So Peyton Manning comes in, and Peyton Manning takes this guy and he gives him the work ethic unlike nobody else. And his work ethic is different. Where Tom Brady is a workaholic, Peyton Manning is a filmaholic, right? He's a film guy. He wants to be the smartest player on the field. He wants to go up and play the chess checker game with the defensive coordinator. And they spent the season doing that with Colin Murray. When you look at Colin Murray as a whole, man, this guy came in the league at 78 overall. We're not going to talk about 19 and 20 because Peyton wasn't there. But when Peyton got there, look at everything. Rating 115.5, 6,855 yards, 81 touchdowns, high interceptions, and this was part of the process. I asked Goat Falk. I said, Coach, man, Colin Murray threw touchdowns at a high level. You're not concerned about the INTs at a high level as well too? And no, he said it flat out like that, and I quote him, no, I'm not. That's part of his process. The part of the process is to really go out there and see what he can and can't do. Where the window might be a little smaller, does he let his arm talent squeeze that football in? And for him to be able to stand in that pocket and become a legit pocket passer, if not the best pocket passer in the league, he has to go through the lumps, right? 20 sacks, 46 interceptions in his first year under Peyton Manning, but he threw 81 touchdowns. And then last year he went dummies, 121.2, 8,061 yards, 106 touchdowns, 34 interceptions. And during that year, it was computer games. But he processed, and then came back this year with none of those computer games and did the same damn thing. But in those 3 years, you're looking at 111.5, 121.2, 127.5. That's processing. That's actually buying into what your coaches are selling and really being thrown in the fire and being asked to do something better than you did every year, right? Even with the yards, boom, boom, they went crazy there, and the touchdowns is crazy as well too. You can't ask for a better quarterback, I think, to have the offensive coordinator you have in Peyton Manning, man. You have a guy that sees the field better than anybody else's quarterback. Simple as that. There's not a coverage that he's not familiar with. You cannot throw anything at him. It's very hard to trick this guy. Very hard to trick him. Right? You fool him once, you ain't fooling him twice. I tell you that right now. If you see it and you get caught being stuck in it, it's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? Because he's gonna keep you in that shit, and he's gonna design something, and that's that. And through that development of Colin Murray being a guy developing at the fast rate as he did, he also had receivers that he grew with right now. You know what I'm saying? You get D-Hop's not there. You have one season with D-Hop, and then he's gone. And you bring in a Sheldon Ward, Isabella, and Rondell Moore, and then you bring in King James at tight end, and now you got guys that he can grow with. And he's doing all this without an offensive line. And he probably had one of the worst offensive lines in the league. But that's when the fury comes in. Because he's so athletic, he can buy himself time. Obviously, he wants to be 3 steps, 5 steps, 7 steps, let that thing go. But not having a strong offensive line means you have to be able to make things happen. Not every quarterback that's fast have to show that by taking off and running for 20 and 30 yards. But the fact that he can manipulate the pocket so well right now is the reason why he's the best. As fast as Lamar is and as good as he is in the run game, the one thing Colin Murray does way better than Lamar Jackson right now is being able to manipulate the pocket. I mean, he could buy himself time. Where a play usually breaks down after 3 seconds, he can get himself up to 5, sometimes 6. And when you're dealing with the weapons they got and him being able to process everything as well as he do, you are dealing with an elite quarterback. And he's not only elite because he's still playing, he's elite because his development shows that. This quarterback can really be the best thing we've ever seen, the way he throws the ball. And the fact that he can run the football as well. This can be one of the most scariest players we've seen in a long time. And the sad part about it is the other quarterback over there in the AFC has that same type of quarterback over there as well. If he can process the field and continue to develop that passing game over there, as he's been doing all year this year, we're looking at 2 of the best quarterbacks we've probably ever seen. And, everybody's going to be looking to have those type of quarterbacks coming in. They are changing the game. You understand? When you're looking for that big 6'6", 230-pound mountain of a quarterback with a rocket of an arm to sit in the pocket and statue you all day long and just throw the ball, at a high level, and every throw that come out is pretty. These guys are saying, nope, pick your best athlete at the quarterback spot, and let's see something happen then. And these guys are saying, black quarterbacks get that, that conversation of they can't read the field, they're not smart enough, blah, 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 blah. Well, Colin Murray has shown not only is he the smartest guy on the field, he's the most athletic guy on the field as well. This is dangerous territory what we're getting into when you see a Colin Murray who's only in his 4th season right now. Think about it. This is the quarterback of Game of Thrones right now, Colin Murray. Now, you got all different type of quarterbacks we're going to deal and talk about when we get over there. Now, let's stay on the NFC side real fast, and let's stay with the other dual threat quarterback. The 3rd fastest quarterback in the league is Justin Fields. And it's weird because Justin Fields is a quiet quarterback, right? But he's not quiet on the field. He's a big-time player on the field. I would say he had lack of weapons, lack of a backfield in the year that he won a Super Bowl. And as we get into season 3 and him fighting for a chance to go back to a Super Bowl, the weapons got a lot better around him right now. You're not dealing with you know, a quarterback that's just fast. You're dealing with a physical quarterback, 6'3", 227. This man played through pain. We watched him in the national championship game. We watched him in the game right before the national championship. We watched him in his career as a quarterback for the Bears right now. We're seeing it. We're seeing a guy that has Cam Newton physical talents where, you know, you can run blast with him. You can run QB powers with this guy. He can literally, you know, do some running back things. And then the sad part about it, well, the good part about it is the speed is legit. What? Man, you see me, I'm on a real talk right now. What the fuck you want, boy? Oh, I see. Of course. All right. Yeah, gotcha, my nigga, gotcha. So back to Justin Fields on the show, dog. All right, here we go. You look at it, Justin Fields, and the one thing you can say about Justin Fields, and I forgot to say about Colin Murray, they are Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. Young, with a whole bunch of football left to play. These guys already have got to the highest mountain and climbed it and stood on top of it as kings of the hill. You know what I'm saying? But when you look at Justin Fields, he did it first. He's the youngest quarterback to win a Super Bowl ever, I would say. You know, he did it in his rookie season, and it hasn't been a year where he's been under 4,000 yards passing. We like the touchdowns. Again, that you can't look at a Colin Murray numbers and then come look at Justin Fields, and it's almost like, what are we looking at here? But the talent is there, and this shit's just as crazy as anybody. You know, Colin Murray is an alien. So because he's an alien, you got to come back down to earth and meet human, one of the better humans at quarterback, Justin Fields. Again, you're not seeing these dual threat quarterbacks. Number one, he's the third fastest quarterback in the league. You know, you're getting carries out of him. Obviously, last year was his best rushing year, 67 carries, 478, 7 yards a carry, 8 touchdowns, right? And then you're looking at Chicago, year one with him, 54, 333, 6.2, and 2 touchdowns. They use Justin Fields' feet, but they don't use him as a design running quarterback where they call and design plays for him. Shit break down, Justin Fields is getting low. Simple as that. What makes him dangerous is he can make every throw you need a quarterback to make, right? And he can extend plays as well, and he can take off and get you those tough yards when you need it. He's probably one of the better quarterbacks that keep the chains moving. Like, this guy, it's hard to get him off the field because he is dual threat, right? He can make every throw, and he can run and get your first down at any moment right now. We love Justin Fields. We think that, you know, he's playing in the playoffs right now for a reason. He's in the divisional round for a reason. He's been in that divisional round every year for a reason, because he's in legit, and he's an elite quarterback in this league right now, Justin Fields. All right, then you got to go look at old man Dangerous, and here's why you go talk about him. All he did was, you know, change states. He said, I'm going to change cities on these guys right now, man. We're going to get out of rainy-ass Seattle and get to the Meadowlands. And Russ, man, where you think, you know, he hit the fountain of youth. Hercules, Sherman, you know what I'm saying? He had that type of shit in him. Whatever that formula was that brought out Buddy Love, it brought it out of Russell Wilson right now. Because when we thought Russell was done, his career was over, we'd never see Russ doing anything. He started to decline and everything, and he's still been declining. You look at his last year for the Seahawks, he threw for 4,000 yards, but he had a 63.8 QB rating. He threw 70. Oh, no, I'm sorry, that was his longest. He threw 43 interceptions to 26 picks. And then when he went to New York, he was already, those picks aren't from New York Giants quarterback Russell Wilson. This is from the Seahawks. And then he gets to New York halfway through, a little bit, like I think about 6-7 games left, and 103.6 QB rating, 5,575 yards, 65 touchdowns, 45 picks. He threw 20 more touchdowns than interceptions, and he showed us that he was coming back. And that next year, he's so good, he kept their number one pick in the quarterback, Elijah Manning, on the sideline, right? 107.2. That's what you want to see. You want to see your quarterback get better. And it's hard to see an aging quarterback get better, but that's what he did. 56 touchdowns, 25 interceptions. He has a sense of command of their offense. The problem is Russell is a leader, and he's been a leader from everywhere he's been, from high school all the way up until where he's at right now. He started off at North Carolina State. He was a leader. Finished off at Wisconsin, Rose Bowl, leader, right? Started to Seattle, leader, won a Super Bowl, gets to New York, leader. Simple as that. And that's what you get out of Danger Russ, man. He doesn't have the arm talent he had, you know, in his younger days, right? But he's making up for that with how he plays the game now, right? He plays the game at a different level. He doesn't, you know, try to beat you by, you know, squeezing every throw in possible. He beats you by concepts and allowing his receivers to be athletes. It's just that simple. When you got good athletes at the receiver position, you let those guys go make plays for you. And that's what makes Danger Russ so dangerous. Simple as that. We like Russell Wilson, man, and he's probably the oldest quarterback still playing right now in the playoffs. And for that, he brings a veteran presence to any game he's in, and he can beat any team he's playing because of his veteranness. He understands these moments, and you know, nothing gets past him pretty much because he's seen it all in his 11-year career. Simple as that. Danger Russ, we like him because he's the only guy on this in the playoffs left that's, you know, old pretty much. You know what I'm saying? We talk about it. Then you get over here and we keep pushing and looking at these NFC quarterbacks, and you got to go down here to the Niners, and we're going to talk about not the Niners, I'm sorry, the Bucks. We're going to get a picture of the Bucks, and we're going to talk about baby Brady. Alright, Jerry Bradshaw, 4,829 yards. This is Peyton Manning. This is Tom Brady's clone right here, except for the 6'6", 232-pound freak of a quarterback, first-round talent, first-round pick, sat all first year. Why? Because TB was still playing at a high level, and all he did was learn Tom Brady ways, and next thing you know, you're building yourself a monster. You got a guy with one of the strongest arms in the league with dual threat capability. No, they're not asking this guy to line up and run powers and draws and things like that. They're asking him to extend plays, and that's what he's doing. And at a high level, 74% completion percentage is higher than anybody else's. But the passing numbers are down yards per game right now, 284.1, and that's a better thing, not worse. You know, Tom Brady was still in the 300s last year. This guy is, you know, 53 touchdowns, only 16 picks. You're not going to find no quarterback that played just as many games as he played with that amount of picks. You know, that's a low number of INTs from a quarterback. Granted, their style of play is through their run game. We understand that, but you still gotta, you know, hold your hat off to a guy with 4,829 passes or 53 touchdowns. And that 74% is just gonna keep sticking out. Not only that, he doesn't get sacked. So this guy really knows how to manage a play when he's passing the ball. They don't take sacks. They don't turn the ball over, and they are high and efficient when it comes down to completion percentage. Now, you're looking at a guy that's only in his second season. He hasn't had that young boy wall yet. He hasn't had a sophomore slump yet, in my opinion. I don't think he's going to have it in his first playoff game at all. I think they had too much time to prepare for this game. And the thing is that's what everybody's waiting for. Everybody's waiting for the moment where, you know, Jerry Bradshaw doesn't, you know, finally shows up and shows that he's young and, you know, miss a lot of passes in the game and get them in trouble, right? Or guys want to see him show us you really a good quarterback when that run ain't working for you. Can you really let things happen in the passing game? Well, he's proven it all year long that he can do it. And he's not one of these quarterbacks that's left out of the Elite 8 that's left, that's, you know, in the room and uncomfortable. You know, they all sitting in the same room. You know, he's sitting there with his chest held high, his head held high, his chin up. He in there talking shit with the best of them, because he feels like he belongs, right? And he's saying it, man. Nobody's more efficient than I am in this room. I belong. You know what I'm saying? And I'm younger than all y'all. Not only do I belong. All right, mama, I'll call you in a second. Not only do I belong, I'm showing y'all I'm here to dethrone some of y'all. Jerry Bradshaw. We like this quarterback, and we want to continue to see him develop. Again, 74%. Really take a look at that and think about that. 74%. A lot of y'all probably won't be impressed with that because you'll say, oh, well, you know, he run the ball more than he throw the ball. It doesn't matter. He's hitting 74% of his passes per game. Dog. So, you know what I'm saying? That's very impressive right now. He's efficient, and because he's efficient, man, I mean, is there, when you talk about a quarterback that's taking on the personality of the guy that was in front of him, I don't think none is doing it better than Jerry Bradshaw.
Absolutely not. He got the TV mentality, and that's why he's sitting in that quarterback room amongst all of them and say, I belong here just as much as anybody.
And let's just face it, he comes from a winning background, his family background. Come on, Terry Bradshaw had 4 Super Bowls. Did Terry Bradshaw go out there and win those 4 Super Bowls? Who knows? But we know this kid is a winner because he was born from a winner at the end of the day. So the tree is there, man. So you got Terry Bradshaw as your father and Tom Brady as your mentor. You can't ask for a better situation for a quarterback in his shoes. You know, as he grew up, he got the best training. He had the best trainers. He had the best everything, right? Because he was born into that. So, you know, they got him going at a young age where he was doing things that other quarterbacks wasn't doing young because, you know, because of his background. Now, how do you feel about, you know, a guy whose father won 4 Super Bowls? You know, he's a winner. He comes from a winning background. Do you feel like that's going to help him through his career?
Oh, absolutely, because, you know, as you know, he's no stranger to the locker room. He's no stranger even as a kid. Even as a kid, you know, he was baptized, you know, in the playoff experience. You know, just, you know, being in the locker room, you know, being amongst an organization that has won multiple Super Bowls. So none of this is, I don't mean to say none of this impresses him, but I think everybody follows what I'm saying. You know, when you've been there, you know, as a kid, kind of like how Ken Griffey Jr. was when he was
or Larry
in the locker room
Fitzgerald,
with Ken Griffey Sr. Yeah, and you know, so they're used to the environments, and you know, so it's not new to them. He's not walking in, and his eyes are just big, and he's overwhelmed by anything. So I love his demeanor. I love the pedigree.
he's been a part of that type of environment since he was in diapers.
Right.
I mean, this kid has it right now, man. And then you got a guy that can make every throw, like every throw. So you got a guy that, you know, that's learning from Tom Brady, but has a stronger arm and more of an athlete than Tom Brady is. Manning this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, and he, you know, and it's hard because you get a young quarterback like this that's very successful, and he still has to keep even kill. How do you keep a guy like this from, you know, feeling himself a little too much, being a little too cocky? How come he's still so even kill where, you know, he knows it's a team thing over here, and he knows he has the team around him that, you know, can win him ball games? All he got to do is go out there and not fuck it up.
Well, but because of the mentorship, and also because of look at who his coach is. You got Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians is one of those coaches that doesn't get rattled. He doesn't put a lot of pressure on one particular position. He allows guys to be themselves.
Great point. That's bars right there. You know, Bruce is a player's coach, man. Guys want to play for that man. He can relate to any player on his team, no matter what their race is. Come on, they got one of the most coaching staffs on their team, on this team. That's black coaches on his coaching staff. Period. So that tells you he's in tune with these type of players. Like, he's in tune with a guy, you know, that, like a Jerry Bradshaw, that can, you know, be a little hot-headed at times, and he, you know, he knows how to get to this guy, man. Their game planning when they in the film room together, Arians and this kid right here, man, it's all over the place. It's like father yelling at son at times. It's sometimes the son know more than father, like, you know, and father's like, I've been here, done that, you know. Ain't nothing you doing right now that I haven't done in my, you know what I mean, pay attention. And then they lock in, and but what comes out of it is 74% completion percentage, 53 touchdowns, only 16 picks on a year right now. That's what comes out of that right now. Do we like the NFC quarterbacks, man? You got Justin Fields, Colin Murray, you got Danger Russell Wilson, and you have Jerry Bradshaw over there in the NFC. These quarterbacks left playing all our ballers.
Absolutely. These quarterbacks are left on teams that have put them in the best position. Even with an aging, Dangerous, where, what they did was they beefed up, the line, that's in front of them. So anything that may be on a decline, they're giving him the time to continue to be effective on the football field. So I like how all these teams have set their quarterbacks up to be successful.
Right. I agree, man. The NFC side looking really good right now. They call themselves the best conference in football right now. And the 2 Super Bowls proving that right now. Plus the teams that are left, they all are dogs. So let's continue to look at these quarterbacks over here. Let's go to the Broncos and look at Kellen Mond right now, man. What can we say about Kellen Mond, man? He was one of the most underrated quarterbacks in college. At Texas A&M, this guy wasn't in the spotlight as much as some of these other quarterbacks that are playing today in the NFL. But he was capable. He was a 4-year starter. I mean, he did have that first year when Colin Murray was there, and they had a bunch of different quarterbacks that couldn't figure it out, and they went through the coaching change, and Sumler went left there, and Jimbo Fisher came in, and they finally made Kellen Mond a starting quarterback. He paid his dues, stayed all 4 years college, and now he's in the NFL, and he did the same thing. Went to the Minnesota Vikings, got the starting job right away, and was bounced out by another younger quarterback that was talent. Nah, I ain't saying more talented than him, but he was a higher prospect than him, and they went with the new quarterback, and he found his way over in Denver, and all he does is got his team sitting in the playoffs right now. 42 touchdowns, 28 interceptions, 61%, and then he's in Denver right now, man. Is there a better place for a guy like him to play?
No, it was the ultimate scheme fit. I mean, it was no knock to Kellen Mond from the information that I received from Minnesota. It's all about scheme fit, and what they did was they got a guy that was pretty good for their scheme versus a guy that they came back and drafted behind him that fit their scheme.
Mm-hmm.
So once they saw that there was a better fit for the scheme, and then Denver did their due diligence. They looked out and they said, hey, this is somebody, there's a quarterback that fits our scheme.
Right.
So they went and they made the move to bring it in. So I absolutely love the move that they made. And the proof is in the pudding. 42 touchdowns. You want that percentage to be higher, but for somebody who just came over and still continuing to acclimate himself, I think he had an outstanding season.
And the one thing about Kellen Mond that some guys will ignore it because they're a first team over here. Like, this team is all about each other, all of them working as one. But they have weapons over here. They got 3 really fast tight ends that are really good, and they could become really big matchup issues for anybody they face. And then at the receiver level, they're really good as well too. They can go somewhere between 5 receivers deep at times. Over there with Jerry Jeudy, and CD Lamb is there. Hamler is still there. You know what I'm saying? They got guys. Cortland Sutton is still there. They got guys over there, right? And this guy is doing a great job between distributing the football between those weapons right now. When you look at these guys, you got, not a lot of teams can do this right now, where 34 catches from a running back they brought in. I don't know if they brought him in through free agency or went and traded for him. I'm gonna think this is more of a free agency move. KJ Hamler, 52 catches, 11 touchdowns. You got CD Lamb, 59 catches, 956, only 6 touchdowns, but he's productive in catching the football and keeping those chains moving, 16.2 a catch. Noah Fant at tight end, 69 catches for 1,015 yards, man. We seeing a lot this year of tight ends with 1,000 yards. And even though we're seeing a lot more tight ends with 1,000 yards, it's still a special group of tight ends that are elite tight ends in this league. Let me ask you, is Noah Fant, should we be talking about him as one of those elite tight ends?
Well, I can't call him elite, not because the talent is not there. It's just because of how they distribute the football. It's almost like when you look at some of the other teams, like when you look over at the Cardinals, the way that they spread the ball around, it's almost like they spread it around so much. He has elite talent.
Right.
But I think that because of the distribution of the football and mixing it in with the running game, the I want to say the stats are not there to say elite, but we know why.
Right. Right. And again, man, you hit it on the button when it comes down to Kellen Mond. He's a quarterback that fits this scheme, and the fact that not all quarterbacks get lucky like that, man. They come from their first team. They were there. They weren't a problem in that system, but the system wasn't their scheme. They get lucky and get sent to a team and traded to a team that really fits what they want to do at the receivers situation right now. All I know is Kellen Mond is balling right now. He got his team one game for playing in the AFC Championship game over there. I'm gonna stay here in the AFC. We're gonna go down to the Chargers and talk about a kid named Justin Herbert. All right, so 5,936 yards. This guy is probably playing with the youngest offense on the field right now. Hence, they have a 95 defense, 90 overall, and 87 offense right now. They got a bunch of young guys they rely on over here to be special, and mainly it comes through three guys because Justin Herbert is a young gunner. 5,936 yards, 52 touchdowns, 35 interceptions, 63%. But he's throwing for 349.2 yards a game. That's seriously a good yards percentage a game, right? Like, he is flinging that thing, and he's almost guaranteed 350 yards a game right now. 104.5 QB rating. He's been sacked 39 times, right? And I think that's a high number of sacks right there. But that their offensive line is young, and they throw the ball so much that you're gonna give up sacks, man. You throw the ball, he in the pocket, he flinging that thing, you're gonna give it up. We like Justin Herbert coming from Oregon. He wasn't, when it came out of the top quarterback that came out in his draft class, he wasn't really talked about being a top quarterback until late. Everything he did from Oregon on was a late bloomer. The only time, he showed, like, wait, hold up, where he came from was his rookie season. He was a fucking animal, won a starting job, and did really well in his first rookie season. He hasn't slowed down since right now. I think he's the most underrated quarterback in this playoff that's left right now. He has the size, 6'6", 236. This is the throwback quarterback. They're not going to ask him to run the ball a whole heck of a lot. Although he does have 30 carries, but again, they're not going to ask him to run the ball a whole heck of a lot, but he's athletic enough to average 6.3 yards a carry. So we like it. But what we do know is this guy is going to sit there and he's going to dot you up. Their system and throwing the football is very good. It's amongst the elites in the league throwing the football. Now, they have a rookie he's throwing to who's playing at a high level right now, even in his first playoff game. 80 catches, 1688. 12 touchdowns. All right, then Bryce Moss. Right now, Bryce Moss is the most dangerous tight end in the league right now. That's 6'7", 261, and he's the second fastest tight end in the league right now behind Kyle Pitts over there in ATL. But 84 catches, 1538, 21 touchdowns. Elite balling. Keenan Allen, the veteran, the old man Keenan over here, 63 catches, 4,041 yards, 7 touchdowns. And then Tylan Wallace comes from Baltimore, and he has 41 catches and 10 touchdowns right now. So they do the pass thing really well. I do think they're a top 5 passing team in the league. Eckler out the backfield, 43 catches, 407 yards. When it comes down to their run game, though, and how does Herbert advance any game he play, is they don't ask a lot out of their running backs, but they got to do enough for this team to be able to be successful in what they do in the passing game. It's almost like the Cardinals, just a little bit brought back down to earth. I told you they aliens over there. So when you look at the way they don't run the football at a high level. Look, we got a running back that doesn't have 1,000 yards over here. 7 touchdowns is the leading touchdown scorer on the ground between 2 running backs. You got Quandre Coleman, 7 touchdowns, and you have Eckler at 7 touchdowns. I don't know how they're getting this kid the football. That's something I'm going to have to pay attention to, knowing that I play him. For him to have 7 touchdowns right now, we need to figure it out right now, because he's too little to play fullback. So what are they doing with this kid when you got a Matt Breida sitting right here? But back to the quarterback conversation. Justin Herbert, we like him over here. We like the arm. We like the accuracy. That's the one thing we will say. He's pretty accurate. 63%. You were 65 and above. You want to talk about elite accuracy, but we know, the amount of the way they throw the ball that 63% is really good in my opinion, because they do fling that ball 90% of the game. And for a team, for a guy to have 63% and throwing the ball 90% of the time, that's a high accuracy. That's high accuracy right now. He can make every throw, and he got big time weapons that are young. So he's really making these guys play at a high level, because those young rookies and first year players that are dominating the stats over here for this team is only doing that because Justin Herbert is that it factor guy. No one saw him coming. No one saw him being, the Chargers guy and being, talked about as one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Simple as that. Now you go all the way down here a little bit to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and you talk about Sunshine. Can be a Sunshine. We didn't expect him to have 4,152 yards. He's growing. We didn't expect him to be a 70% QB percentage right now. 32 touchdowns, 21 INTs. We didn't expect that. 244.2 passing yards a game. Why you don't expect that? Because their offense goes through their running game. 341 carries from Travis Etienne, 21-39, 22 touchdowns, right? And the thing about Trevor Lawrence is that 6'6", he's not a statue at 6'6". This guy is dual threat. He's mobile. He can move around. He can do it. As you can see, 5.7 yards a carry and 3 touchdowns on the season. He will use his legs if he have to. Again, they don't ask him to do much outside of manage the football game, but he's managing it at a high level right now. When you're the overall pick, number 1 overall pick of the draft, expectations are very high. Somehow he's managed to keep his team in the playoffs every year and do it under the radar as a quarterback. And I think he can end up being that guy that really takes his team to the next level because of his quarterback play. He's been in a championship game all his life, so he's used to playing the championships. From high school to college, all he did was either win a championship or play in a championship. And I think eventually, they're playing the championships. They're winning championships in their division. Now they just took the next step from the wild card round, and that's all you ask for. You ask for a young player to get better each year right now, and that's what he's doing. Trevor Lawrence is really playing elite, and that 70% shows that. And the last quarterback for the AFC is, to me, the best weapon in the league. Simple as that. And what people aren't realizing is that he is developing, as a pocket passer right now. So let's talk about it. When you think of Lamar Jackson, you think of the Lamar Jackson running the football, the speed, the athleticness, the agility. I mean, this is a kid this is Barry Sanders with a cannon of an arm. That's all you're getting out of him, right? And the knock on him was he can't throw outside the numbers. He can't do this and that in the passing game. And for the 3 seasons that we've been playing, that's what they've been doing, developing him as a passer as well. Where Colin Murray comes in as a dual threat quarterback but known as a passer, he comes in as a dual threat quarterback, and they still want to call him a running back at the quarterback position, right? So he's an elite rusher. We know that. We know Lamar Jackson can run that ball at a high level. He's 69 yards away from another 1,000-yard back-to-back 1,000-yard season, 12 touchdowns, 104 carries. He probably got more carries than any running quarterback in the league right now, with 104 carries right now. So the guy is absolutely the reason why the Baltimore Ravens had a number 1 rushing attack in the league. Simple as that. And the fact that he's so good at running is the reason why they have the number 1 offense in the league right now. And when you look at the Cardinals, and then you look at Baltimore, you're like, how? But numbers don't lie. Simple as that. This year he's been off the charts as a passer right now, and I think in season 5 right now, and as a passer, he's there now. Now the guy can sit there and make every throw from anywhere on the field, and he understands how to use his weapons at the receiver position to make things a little easier for him, where he didn't have those type of weapons in the beginning part of his career, where it was him and a bunch of guys that he got from Pathmark, or they found them out of Wawa's or whatever store you done found these guys at. Now they got dogs at the receiver position right now. They got a tight end that's off the charts over there, pretty solid. They got 3 good receivers in Rashad Bateman, Hollywood Brown, and Pooh Hanna, and they use them all unique in the different ways right now, and he's finding a way to get these guys the ball. and he's doing it at a high level. He's definitely weapon X of the league right now. Yeah, I don't think he's the best quarterback. I think you got to give it to Colin Murray, but I think he's the most dangerous weapon in the league right now. And at any moment he can dominate a football game, and it's special when he do it. Again, I stand on his 6,487 yards passing, 78 touchdowns, 27 INTs. The guy's 66% for a guy that can't throw the ball. Not bad for a running back, huh? And this is what they say. You talk about him as a runner, but what has he done over the last 3 years? Take a look. What is he doing? 65%, 66%, 66%. So he's throwing the ball accurately at a high level, right? We know that. You look at from 21, 111.1. This is what you want to see in your quarterback. His second year rating, 118.9, and now he's up to 123.7. As a passer, he's been somewhere between 6,000 and 5,000 yards as a passer, and each year 60, 66. He's up to 78 right now. Hasn't thrown more than 27 interceptions on the season for a guy that can't throw the football. He's throwing it at a high level. Lamar's scary. Iceman is who he is. He's a problem. Lamarvelous, whatever you want to call him, he's a problem, and he keeps defensive coordinators up all night long, because he's that much of a problem right now. So shout out to what he's doing. And I think, we look at the quarterbacks that's in the playoffs left out of the Elite 8, all of them have their own special uniqueness to them, right? All of them have some things that they could do really well, and that other teams that's playing them will have to try to stop that. But when you look at elite and two guys that are on a different planet right now, I do say you got to go to Colin Murray and Lamar Jackson. AFC NFC situation, both these quarterbacks are really dangerous at what they're doing, and they're doing it at a higher level than most guys are right now. And because of that, these guys are special. They sell tickets. They must see. We've been screaming about GETA Styles as the face of the Game of Thrones league right now. And some will argue those two quarterbacks can also be it along with Ronald Jones. Simple as that. Now, when you look at these matchups, right, and you look at wide receiver to DB matchups right now, right? You get over here and we look at the Chargers and the Baltimore Ravens, right? Let's come out of this and we see the receivers for the Baltimore Ravens team. We're going to talk about the receivers and the tight end position, all as receivers, right? And I'll even go as far as say the running backs out the backfield right now. When you talk about weapons, Hollywood Brown, he's his numbers are the best right now in the league, right? What I mean by that is his yards are unmanned right now. The next guy to him is right there next to him, and that's Hudson Waddle. Now you saw we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 receivers that have 2,000 yards or more, and on these guys up here, Hollywood, Hudson, Waddle, I want to say Sheldon, I'm not gonna say Isabella. I think out of the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys that had 2,000 yards, 4 out of the 6 has been 2,000 yards or more every year in their career. And that's special. But Hollywood, Mr. Woo Baby, 24 touchdowns, 7 yards run after catch, 531 rack yards run after the catch. Those yards are there. Now Hollywood is not a guy that's going to make you miss an open field, and he's going to use that speed. He's going to run by you, and when he run by you, he's going to throw that one hand up, throw it up and let that quarterback fling it, and Lamar has the arm to get it to him. Hollywood stretches the field all day and every day, but he's still a receiver that can take a drag to 70, 80 yards as well, and he's got cleaned up his route running, hence the 76 catches, 32.6 yards a catch. That's strictly the, he walks by you. He's a deep threat on this team, and this is why this offense is wide open like that, because he's such a deep threat. Everything else opens up because you got to spend attention on him going deep. I like Hollywood Brown. So now, if I'm the Chargers and you're looking at DB wide receiver matchup, because that's where we at right now. In every game, I want to talk about the wide receiver and the DB matchup right now. When you go back to the Baltimore Ravens and you look at their receiver core and you see what they're doing, let's just ignore the numbers and talk about what type of receivers they have over here. So again, Hollywood stretches the field. He's the home run hitter. Rashad Bateman is their possession receiver. This guy is, he's the go get it. He's the big guy over here, if you want to kind of say it like that. 90 catches, 1882, 26 touchdowns. He keeps the chains moving. He's the guy that, He's the true #1 receiver over here. Where you're scared of Hollywood speed, you better be scared of his route running. He does that at a high level, and he doesn't really drop shit. So you got a receiver over there that's really their #1 in possession guy, and then you have the athlete in Puhana. Puhana is 49 catches, 1233, but he got 21 touchdowns on the year. He's the guy that has the wiggles to him. He catch the ball, he can make you miss and keep it going. He can go get the 50-50. He can run by you. He's Mr. Do It All from that slot position. When you look at just the 3 receivers over here and what the Chargers have to face, do they match up well with these guys in the secondary? I would say yes, in the way they do, right? Let's go to their defense and let's go find their corners right now. If they're trying to match up, what do you do? Do you put a guy like Asante Samuels Jr. on a Hollywood Brown, or do you put your best cover corner on Hollywood Brown? But if we was to look at matchups right now, and I think Baltimore wide receivers have the edge in this ball game when it comes down to their secondary. The one thing I will say is that I like the safety play for the Chargers, and that since Darwin James will be playing sub linebacker, I do think he matches up really well with the tight end, or even the running backs out the backfield, or even the slot receiver at times too, coming from that sub linebacker package. But Clyde Sampson, I've been screaming, he's proven himself to be a shutdown corner. He's double-digit interceptions 2 years in a row. The guy is playing at a high level for being a #4 pick in his draft class. So, but then it's the question of who does he stick, and then once you got get around Sampson and Samuels, who's your third corner that can cover Puhana? So my question would be, what matchup will we get now? Because I think if Clyde Sampson is asked to mirror Hollywood, then he's going to have to run, and he's got to and he's going to have to play deep football, right? And he has the speed to do that. 96 speed, 96 acceleration. So do you pitch a fast, better corner on Hollywood Brown, or do you make that mistake and do that and not pitch your best corner on Rashad Bateman, who clearly could, might be the #1 receiver on this team, honestly? So I don't know. And then you look at Samuels, 5'10", 181, he's a dog. But then you playing with a guy on star, no abilities. 6 interceptions this year, I thought I saw. Yeah, 6 of them. I just want to know his speed. 93 speed, 93 acceleration. So do you lock him on Hollywood, or do you let him cover 95 overall, morale +2, template +2? Do you allow him to cover Rashad Bateman, if they even playing man? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I just know the receiver matchup to the DB matchup. I don't think they have a guy for the third receiver over here, which is Puhana. But it's the matchup that we need to watch out for. Who's covering who when they step on the field tonight? Who's going to be covering who over here? So, but I will say I give it to the Baltimore Ravens as far as receivers versus DB. When you get to the Broncos and the Jaguars game, honestly, I don't know. I think this is an even matchup here. When you look at the Broncos receivers, you got, not only do you have the receivers that pretty solid. So this is what I'll say. Jerry Jeudy right now, he's the guy. 87 catches, 1820. But then Noah Fant at the tight end position. CeeDee Lamb, 59 catches, almost 1,000 yards as well. And then KJ Hamler, the slot demon over there. Now you see those guys, you see their numbers. They all bring different situations. Because to me, Jerry Jeudy is a playmaking wide receiver. He can make the tough catches, and he's a possession route running guy. But I don't think he's more of a possession route runner than CeeDee Lamb. Jerry Jeudy is dangerous with the football in his hand, as you can see, 6.6 yards after he catches the football. No one's close. 576. The next man to him is KJ Hamler at 405. This guy catches the football, has good enough size to be able to, break a tackle or two, or he has good enough agility and change of direct, all that good stuff, elusiveness, juking to be able to make you miss when he got the football in his hand. And then CeeDee Lamb, I think he's a nightmare for anybody's DBs because he's a possession guy. This guy can catch the football at a high level, and he's a great route runner. And then Hamler's the speed demon in the slot. So I mentioned their weapons, Noah Fant, is up there with the best tight ends right now, right? Montgomery out of the backfield. Well, when you look at these guys, I go DB's matchup versus what they got up here. Well, Noah Fant's such a big part of this offense. You got to ask yourself, is there a linebacker over here that matches up with a guy like a Noah Fant? And I do think they have it in Miles Jack. So when I look at the Jacksonville Jaguars secondary versus the Broncos wide receiver core, how many of y'all think I would be wrong for saying that I do think the Jacksonville Jaguars match up with this wide receiver core of the Denver Broncos? Now, what you're not going to see is a whole lot of high interceptions out of a corner over here, right? But Julian Blackmon, 12 INTs on the year. Cisco with 9. Then you got C.J. Henderson, who I think matches up with any of those guys over there. I mean, they've been doing it since college. He comes from Florida. He's been playing Jerry Jeudy and them all his college career. Man, so why not in the NFL? You know what I'm saying? Tyson Campbell, another one of them guys that played in the SEC at Georgia. He's playing the same situation over there. Anthony Everett is the faster corner over here. You know, he's the most experienced corner over here. Is he able to cover KJ Hamler? Will be the question right now. Malik Hooker, you got good secondary play. Safeties are solid. Blackmon is a dog. And then you go look at the linebackers. Let me go to interceptions again. Is it a Patrick Queen is going to be asked to cover a guy like a Noah Fant, or is it Miles Jack going to be asked to cover a guy like Noah Fant? But what I do know is both these linebackers are going to have to be really good in coverage in this playoff game, because the Broncos have more than one tight end. That's a dog over there. Simple as that. So I do think the Jacksonville Jaguars secondary, and along with that, these linebackers match up well with the Denver Broncos wide receiver core and tight ends over there. And the NFC game, the Bears versus the Bucks. When you look at the Bears and the Bucks game, let's take a look at first the Bears and their wide receivers. So you're dealing with Allen Robinson, 80 catches, 15-10. He's been the most consistent #1 receiver over there at this point in his career, 9 years in. He's a possession guy. Simple as that. 9 touchdowns. Anthony Harvin comes out of nowhere, Percy Harvin's clone, and what he do? 57 catches, 1134, 12 touchdowns. Do the Bucks have anybody that can cover this young wide receiver? And then there's Darnell Mooney. 59 catches, 1,031 yards, 14 touchdowns, and then tight end pair with 62 catches for 859 and 5 touchdowns. Now that's the weapons that Justin Fields get to throw to, along with the running backs out the backfield. But this is the weapons you get to throw to right now. And then when you look at the Bucks, you know their DBs are loaded and they are ready to go, rock and roll. So I like the Bucks secondary better than I like the wide receiver core. But here's the matchups I'm going to talk about right now. I think Carlton Davis will draw, because this team plays man-to-man. So Carlton Davis III will draw Allen Robinson in that game. I think Murphy Bunting, this will be the situation. Who is he going to be responsible for? Darnell Mooney or young Anthony Harvin? And that'll be my question. I think he can run with any of those guys over there with speed, so you will want him to be on the fastest guy over there. And I would think that would be Anthony Harvin. And although he's a rookie, he's part of that offense. He's a very, very important piece of that offense. And you need a guy that can run with these guys, because they're going to run you all over the field. So I like the matchups right now between 1 and 2 corner and 1 and 2 receiver. I don't know if Davis is better than you line Davis up on Allen Robinson, can he shut him down? We know they got the abilities to be shut down corners, but can they do it? Can Allen Robinson be held to 3 or 4 catches and no touchdown type situation for these guys to really put it on the Bears or even win the ball game? I don't know, but I do like Allen Robinson, and I'm not comfortable completely calling Carlton Davis the guy that'll shut Allen Robinson down. Speed-wise, Sean Murphy Bunting, I do like the matchup, whether he playing Harvin or he got to play Mooney, because I think he's just more experienced than them, and his threshold higher, and I think he'll better cover any one of those receivers because he's the better player. But then I'm gonna ask myself, are you gonna use a safety to be able to stop that third slot? Because whoever's the third receiver for this team is going to be in a situation, because I don't think the Bucs have a third corner. And when they play man-to-man, they're going to need that third corner to really play, especially playing the crossing guard offense. Simple as that, right? Who the hell you got to better play the third corner? Now, whoever the receiver is as the third receiver, as the slot receiver, the next corner that we're going to talk about is way down here on this list. It's either Jamel Dean is going to draw that responsibility, or it's going to be a rookie, practice squad rookie, or McMahon. And I think the Bears win that matchup, especially when, you know, the Bucs are in man-to-man. They got to be able to export that matchup. So I think, you know, honestly, I'm going to say this. I think the Bears wide receiver group wins this one. Not the game. I think they just win the matchup. I think they have a better matchup for the Bucs. I think they, you know, they should be comfortable coming into the game matched up. You know, now it's hard for me to say that because the one-and-one, Allen Robinson and, you know, Carlton Davis is a good matchup. I do think Allen Robinson can win that matchup, but I don't think he can dominate that matchup. Then you look at Bunting. We know Bunting can win that matchup because he's the better corner. But then that third spot is where I'm a little iffy at. But we also know that they got that linebacker core that can make up for that, right? Simple as that. But I'm gonna go ahead and give it to the wide receivers because, you know, the third receiver is better than the third corner for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And it's that simple to me. And then when you get over here and you say, is there anybody on defense that can cover I can go either way. Most of y'all think I'm gonna go this way. Most of y'all think I'm gonna sit here and say, all right, the Cardinals wide receivers versus the Giants DBs. Nope. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say the Giants wide receivers versus the Cardinal DBs. Now let's look at these matchups right now. We got one of the cornerbacks that was known as, after year one in his rookie season, what he did as a rookie, we had him labeled as the best corner in the league coming back into his second season. And then, you know, he didn't get the games. Nobody was playing him. He had to play the computer more than he had to play humans. Matter of fact, just as much as he had to play humans. And when he did play humans, they were staying away from him. Hence the 3 interceptions. And now you're at the point now he's moved all over the place again. He's back up to 9 picks again. So we're looking at Tate Goins. Is he still an elite corner? Is he still one of the best corners? I mean, did we give him the best corner in the league way too early with Xavier Howard sitting over there doing what he's been doing consistently for 3 seasons? I don't know. I'm not sure. I know I do think Xavier Howard's the better receiver. I mean, better DB. But we looking at the number 1 corner for Arizona Cardinals and Tate Goins, and a guy that was labeled, you know, one of the best shutdown corners in the league, and he has to go up against a guy like DK Metcalf. So then you ask yourself, who wins that matchup? When it comes down to physicality, 6'1", 185. DK Metcalf is a man-child. He looks like he's a linebacker at receiver. Simple as that. Numbers, you know, number-wise, you know, the kid is a problem over there. Simple as that. DK Metcalf is the Giants offense. At the end of the day, everything goes through him because everybody's focused on him. But DK with 56 catches, 1903, 28 touchdowns right now. Ken Goin, any of y'all think that Goin could cover him, or y'all think that DK wins this matchup? What I do know is this. I do know the Cardinals will play zone. They will play man. What I do know is the Cardinals will not respect DK Metcalf like every other team that DK Metcalf plays does. I think the Cardinals will, you know, put a guy in his face that they feel like they can get the job done, but they will not look at DK as, oh my God, we got to stop him. I think they're comfortable with their corner covering him. Now will they have over the top help? Who knows? I don't know. I think you will be smart if you do it. DK is that good. He just said fuck him for the rest of this. But I'm gonna tell y'all like this: DK is super important to this Giants offense because he's the reason why these other guys get going. Now let's just look at the matchup there. You take Cohen and you lock him down on DK Metcalf, and I'm still conflicted on if I think that he can shut him down, or you know what I mean, or limit him to being successful as he would like to be in the game. I think, you know, Kenny holding the 5 catches, no touchdowns, something like that, right? Or Kenny holding, you know, under 100 yards receiving on the day. It's hard. Then you got Terry Toomer, John Ross, and then Kadarius Toney are your next receivers over here. And I asked myself this: Kadarius Toney, 561 yards, 6 touchdowns. John Ross, 713 yards. But John Ross is having a great playoff series so far. 10 touchdowns, 713. Toomer, 29 catches, 887, 14 touchdowns. Right? That's what I asked. I look at those weapons and I say, can these guys win their matchups against the rest of the Cardinals secondary as far as the cornerback play? And I stumble upon my answer, and my answer is it depends. Right, because here you go. Their next 2 corners: Brian Murphy Jr., 79 tackles, 3 interceptions, and Marco Wilson. Can they cover Toomer, Ross, and Toney over there? That's the matchup I'm unsure of right now, because, you know, none of these guys we're talking about have numbers where you're just like, oh my God, off the charts, right? These guys have are top heavy with the number 1 receiver versus the number 1 corner, and then the rest of those matchups, I really wouldn't better say that the Giants aren't better than the rest of the DBs at the cornerback position for the Cardinals, or the Cardinals are better matched on there. I just know the battle and the war starts with DK and going. And then outside of that, you got to deal with, you know, the pressure of having to stop DK opens up the rest of those receivers over there. And can the Cardinals cornerbacks hold that down? I'm not sure, bro. I think the matchup is DK and going, and then after that, anything can happen. Especially when you get man-to-man situations. I think Goin has a tough task today or tonight whenever they play. As simple as that, and that's how simple we're going to keep it. AntHits the Franchise Guru, Real Talk Show, episode 5, breaking down the playoffs. We told y'all we'd do it. We're out of here. We will be back on later on for part 2 and 3 tonight. You heard? Holla at us.